you probably don't know this, but I'm quite old, really. You know, I'm almost as old as I'll tell you what my age is. You know, that's the sign. That's the sign you've passed over to. And in later on in the presentation thing, that I'm going to make a reference to slideshow, and I have a suspicion that Anya won't know what a slideshow is. It's a bit like a PowerPoint presentation. And but I think everybody else knows what a slideshow is, possibly. Yeah, okay. So, several years ago, I had a very close friend. She's Swiss, and herself and her boyfriend are coming to Ireland. So she asked me, can you recommend any good spas, you know? And I was going, spas, you know? And all I could think of was Lisdoonvarna, you know? And I thought, she can't be talking about that, you know? I was completely aware of the wellness industry. I hadn't a clue. And but now I know what a spa is, a little bit, anyway. I know you can give it as a Christmas present to somebody and they won't be insulted. so, so, um, so why do people go to spas? And so basically, you know, like it's a break from stress, you know, and for many people as well too, it's like a break from the hollowness, you know, from the pointless living that they're in, you know. It's kind of getting away from, I don't know what, pointlessness, you know, hollowness, you know, and you know, like you get massage, you know, you get all kinds of treatments, aromatherapy, you get to eat a lot of salad. I'll put that one in for Laura. You know, like when you go to a restaurant in France, you know, and you say like, "Oh, we have some vegetarians or we have some vegans," they say, "Not a problem at all, not a problem at all." Oh, what's on the menu? Salad. And exercise, meditation, you know, and you get a lovely feeling, you know, and you know, so while you're there, you're enjoying that, you know, enjoying that feeling as much as you can, and then you go home. I think you can see where I'm going with this. You go home, you know. Now here we don't do so much, you know, replacing unpleasant feelings with pleasant feelings with better ones, you know, and we don't attempt to create peace, you know, and you know we have to acknowledge really, you know, like such feelings as those, they're lovely, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with enjoying that kind of feeling, you know. There's no need to be puritanical. Now, some religious Buddhist people, maybe they're a bit puritanical, you know, but actually, you know, there's nothing wrong with enjoying that feeling, you know. A bit like being stoned, you know, it's very nice, but it wears off. And it can lead to addiction, you know. So here instead, we use a very skillful approach. We don't try to eliminate unpleasantness and pursue pleasantness, whatever it is, pleasantfulness, pleasantness. We don't do that, you know. There's a skill. The skill is to see through it all. To see through it all. I would call it penetrating awareness. By resting in openness. You know, resting isn't something you do, it's not an activity. Letting be, you know. unaltered, you know. And as you sit like that, there's this slideshow of experiencing. You don't even have to say next slide, please. There's a very primitive kind of knowing, which is uncomplicated. Uncomplicated by referencing, by thinking, you know. But it doesn't reject references. It doesn't reject thinking. You're just hanging out in this very primitive knowing. It's very natural. Very natural. You begin to enter into the real reality, not fabricated, the actual real reality. There's a slideshow. You're sitting there without too much hope and fear. Hanging out in this primitive kind of knowing, just letting be, everything unaltered. There's real security in not having a position. Everything flowing. Rest. Not doing anything. Not establishing anything. Not creating peace. Just hanging out in this simple awareness. Letting be. No need to change anything. The slideshow keeps changing. You don't have to change anything. You become like space. not an ease that's created, an ease that's there because you're simply letting things be. It takes a little while to realize that there's nothing to hang on to. You can just be there. Whatever going on in your head, whatever is happening, it's just happening. No big deal. It's okay. You're not controlling anything. You can actually take a break. See, it's all just changing all the time. You can leave it alone. You don't have to struggle to leave it alone. You leave it alone by leaving it alone, by resting. The fact that there's thoughts there, that doesn't matter. They keep changing. And you were there. In a deck chair by the beach on a sunny day with the waves coming and going. Nothing to do. Don't control the waves. It's stupid. Relax. Rest. Then waken up a little bit. awake, alive, present, while all the activity goes on in your mind. It takes a little while to have confidence in this, you know. I think what you'll find, if you're like me, I think what you'll find is that, okay, like, you know, you can sit there, and sometimes, you know, it's like that, the wave's just crashing in, you're there, you know. But then there's like doubt comes, you know, like, do you know what I mean? Are you doing this right? Surely it can't be this, you know. Does that happen to you? So it takes a little while to develop confidence in this way of being. But actually, you know, this point about in openness, just being open, it's so simple. Just being open, not having a position. There's such security in that. You're not tossed around by what goes on. Just being open and awake. And then sometimes, you know, when you kind of settle in this, you know, there's like a really deep contentment. It happens to me sometimes. Really deep contentment, you know. It's kind of like, you know, at the end of a hard day's work, you know, you settle down into a lovely couch, you know, or lie down, whatever, you know, and just nothing to do. Like a deep contentment. And at the same time, just kind of like a kindness that wells up in you, even towards your enemy. It's got no position. It's got no position, you see. It just, it's compassionate. No, what's the word? Just loves all those idiots, you know. Then you realize, oh, that's my nature. That's my nature. The search is over. You just need to become familiar with it. That's it. Okay, I'll release everyone from my, from my natterings.